What is your pineal gland? What is the purpose of it? Why should you activate it, and how? So I'm going to try to answer some of those questions for you today. So your pineal gland is a pine cone shaped gland that resides between both sides of your brain. It's kind of in the middle towards the back. And this little pine cone shaped gland, it's super tiny. It's like the size of a grain of rice, has such strong powers that you do not even realize it. You think about a pigeon and a homing pigeon, and how do they find their way? And it's by using their pineal gland. How does a chameleon change colors? Using their pineal gland. So if this tiny little thing in their tiny little brains can do these amazing things, what can your pineal gland do for you? So a lot of different religions and cultures have really put an emphasis on the pineal gland because they knew of its powers. Some believe that your soul resides in the pineal gland. A lot of people say that you can reach higher states of consciousness by activating it, and that's why I'm going to try to tell you some ways you can try to activate your pineal gland to try to reach those higher states of consciousness, to access things in the universe, to manifest things, to heal yourself, to have mystical experiences, and to see other dimensional beings. All kinds of things are why you would want to access your pineal gland. Now, if you look back at other cultures, you can look at like the Egyptians and other things and how they really looked at the pine cone shaped stuff. Look around the world. Look at all the different pine cones that other countries, other religions, other cultures have emphasized the meaning of the pine cone. Vatican. It's all very interesting when you start looking around at these pine cone things, and you'll see, oh, it's related to the pineal gland. So this pineal gland is actually what people sometimes call your third eye. If you look at where it resides in your brain, your optic nerve, it goes around your pineal gland. It's very interesting that it's that way, but it actually is linked to sight and vision in a way because it controls melatonin. So when it gets dark out, your pineal gland starts to produce the melatonin and serotonin and all that other stuff in the pineal gland. Some people actually believe DMT is produced there. If you know what DMT is, nobody has proven it, but that's where they believe that is. DMT helps you have visions and different things like that. So this tiny little pineal gland, if you activate it, it can be a transducer into the universe. Now, what's a transducer? If you don't know what that is, think of a radio, TV signals. It's what tunes into the radio station, and you tune into something and it brings it to it. The transducer takes that radio signal that's out in the atmosphere, and it takes it and it turns it into a signal that you can understand. It turns it into a song. Out in the air, you don't know that's a song, but once it gets in here, the transducer takes that information and turns it into something you can understand. Same thing with your pineal gland. It is sending signals out into the universe, and it's trying to bring back signals in there and process it into your body. And so that's how you can tune into things into the universe and get them to you. That's how you can have visions. That's how you can send out a signal that you want to heal yourself, that you want to manifest a car, or whatever it is you're trying to do. Now, there's these tiny little crystals that are on the pineal gland, and when there is a pressure put on these crystals, then there's what's called the piezoelectric effect, and with that effect, it actually activates these crystals to where they become magnetic, and they can create a magnetic field around your body. And so by activating it, then you are able to produce this magnet to tune into the universe. Okay, so how do you activate it? Well, the first thing you can do is to put your attention on it. So you've probably seen a lot of cultures where they put a little dot right here between their eyes. That's your third eye. And think about when you're a kid and you got like a face painting on your face, or you have a Band-Aid on your arm or something, you kind of sense that it's there. You kind of put a little bit of attention where that is, you know, and that's why they put that there. So they're putting their attention on that spot, and by putting attention on that spot, it's basically activating it. When you meditate, you put attention on certain things and it activates it. It makes it active and move or whatever it does. And so by just always have a conscious, like when you're wide awake, not even meditating, when you have an awareness in this spot, it helps to activate it more and helps it, I guess, vibrate or just put attention on it. You can do that yourself. You can put some gum paste. That's the stuff you put on like fake mustaches with. Gum paste, you could put like a little dot of paint if you want to. You could get a bindi. You could even put like a little piece of Scotch tape right there and just like, you don't have to wear it out in public, but just when you're around the house or whatever, and it helps you put attention on there. Another way to do that is to, when you are meditating, which meditation is another really good way to try to activate your pineal gland by closing your eyes and thinking, you just are activating it. But when you meditate, you look up. I want you to look up right here between your eyebrows. Like just close your eyes right now and look up at that spot. And it kind of feels weird. It almost kind of makes you a little bit dizzy. But you can even do that during the day to just kind of exercise it. But if you do that during your meditation, that can really help to put attention there. I know when I first started meditating, I put a lot of attention there and I kind of got small little headaches, but that over time, as you exercise it, that'll go away. It's kind of like when you first start working out and your muscles are sore, that'll eventually go away. Same thing here. You might get a little twinge of a headache or pressure kind of up in here, but it's something that you probably haven't activated and it needs to be worked out. Some other things to do to exercise or to activate it is breathing exercises. If you know Dr. Joe Dispenza, he has an incredible breath that activates your pineal gland. I've tried other things like some Wim Hof breathing and some Kundalini yoga breathing. That's another thing you can do is some Kundalini yoga that's really good at trying to activate it. But I found that Dr. Joe Dispenza's breath is amazing and incredible at trying to activate this gland. I have a demonstration video that I've done about that. If you'd like to try it out, I can just show you real quickly. What he does is he basically has you take all the energy from your lower energy centers and basically squeeze your butt up. And you want to squeeze energy up into your brain and stretch it all out. And you want to squeeze and breathe up at the same time to try to put pressure from down here onto that, and that puts that piezoelectric effect on that pineal gland because you actually have what's called cerebral spinal fluid that goes up your spine, and that spinal fluid naturally goes through your body. I believe it's a 12-hour cycle that it takes for it to fully make a cycle through. Maybe it's 24 hours, I can't remember, I think it's 12, to go through your body. But it naturally goes through your body. But by doing this breath, you make it go through quicker and it helps to activate. There's actually a ventricle up in your brain that is located, like let's say this is a ventricle and your pineal gland is right at the top of that. And when that fluid comes right through that ventricle, it puts pressure up on that pineal gland and it starts to activate it. And so by doing that breath, you're squeezing that fluid up into your brain and it's putting pressure on that pineal gland to help to activate it. If you want to look a little more into that, there's you actually get a new oil in your body every 28 and a half days. I won't go into that, but you can do your own research on that, of how that process works. Think of it like a woman's menstrual cycle. Every one of you has this inside of you, and so by doing this breathing exercise, you're kind of purifying, I guess you could say, that oil inside your body and keeping it active. And it's a really good thing to do. Like I said, meditation is another good thing to activate it. Just closing your eyes, focusing on your attention on that, and then you can tune into the universe that way. Kundalini yoga is another good thing to do. Doing things in the dark and light, like if you're going to meditate, I suggest putting on some kind of mask to block out the light, because your eyes can still see light when they're closed. But if you block that out, it helps to, I guess, trick your pineal gland into thinking it's dark and it'll start to get active. But your pineal gland naturally gets active at night. And so that's a good time to maybe do some meditation, or early in the morning is actually when it's the best, is like 3 or 4 a.m. is the best, when it's the most active. And it has to do with your melatonin levels. Sun gazing, if you'd like to try that, that's really good. Just a few minutes before the sun sets, or a few minutes before, or I guess like right after it rises, or watch it as it rises, just kind of gaze. Some people say you could really burn your eyes doing that, and it is kind of hard at first if you want to try to do it. I've tried it, and it actually is really cool, and I feel just this kind of energy through my body when I do it. I just do it for a few minutes. If it hurts your eyes, then don't look at it, but don't like, you can kind of like squint your eyes a little bit to look at it. Wearing sunglasses is actually not a good thing because you're kind of, fooling your pineal gland a little bit, and it's not in its natural balance of night and day and daylight and darkness. So it's really not good to wear sunglasses because it kind of deactivates it. Something else about I guess let me get into the next one, the essential oils. I've never tried this, but some people claim that essential oils can work there, or crystals. I'm not into doing all that stuff, but maybe putting a little bit here. They say lavender, sandalwood, frankincense, and pine. There's probably some others, but those are like really good ones. You hear about the frankincense. People use the frankincense here and on the forehead, so I guess there is something to that. You can try that and see what you think. I haven't tried it yet. But some people say that a lot of people say, science says it, that the pineal gland has a buildup, a calcification on it from fluoride. So if you have fluoride in your drinking water, and when doctors look at brain scans, that's how a lot of times they are able to find some kind of tumor or something in the brain, because there's that little white spot on the brain scan, and that's the pineal gland. But that's because it's calcified. If it wasn't calcified, they wouldn't be able to see that. But because it's calcified, they can clearly see the pineal gland, and they can see if the pineal gland, since it's right there in the center of the brain, they can see if it's off to the left or right at all, and see if something is happening in the brain because of that. You don't want your pineal gland to look like that on a brain scan or an x-ray or whatever it is. So people are like, okay, well, how do I decalcify it and get all that stuff off? Because maybe that's like holding down my pineal gland from those crystals activating and becoming a magnet. Just by doing the breathing alone and by focusing on it, it's kind of activating. It's like a sleeping muscle that you're activating, and it's going to eventually, over time, break apart those crystals. Some people want a few shortcuts. You can look into supplements. Just take them with caution, because a lot of the supplements that you can use to activate or to demineralize the pineal gland also will detoxify other things in your body. And so you may get some detoxification, flu-like symptoms, whatever, if any of you have ever done that, you feel some detox and some symptoms in your body from other toxins being released. So if you are going to do these, take them with caution, or talk to a practitioner or something and start them off slow. I myself have done it. I don't know if it really helped or not, because I did it around the same time I started doing that breath, and so it activated it, and I don't know if it was because of doing the breath or because of the supplements. The two that I was taking was iodine. Get a really, really good iodine, not just some cheap over-the-counter like grocery store iodine. You need to go online and find a good one. And then Shilajit. I'm not sure exactly how you say that, and it's a tarry substance that comes between rocks, and it's very, very high in minerals. That one I have to take very, very slow. Get the tar. I don't take the pills. Get the true tar, and I just mix it in with water, and it tastes like dirt. It tastes like tar. It really tastes like you're eating it, but that's all the minerals in there. And I took that before I even started learning about the pineal gland, and I noticed a difference in my body. But it did have detox with a very minor amount, so that one was pretty strong. There's also a new supplement that we recently bought. We haven't tried it yet. My husband wanted to take it to try to activate his pineal gland, but while he was on vacation, he actually was able to hit his pineal gland and activate it for the first time ever. And so now he's kind of like, I don't know if I really even need these supplements. So we haven't tried them out yet. They're by MitoLife. So there's probably some other ones out there too you can try. I know if you go to Dr. Joe Dispenza's website, he's got 2 different supplements that can kind of help with that. And some people are like, well, if you can really just break it apart with the breath or whatever, then why do you need to take the supplements? And it's just because some people kind of just need a little boost, a little extra something to get them going, or some people just don't believe that they can just do it with the breath and they want something, and so that kind of helps. And I've read some reviews and people said it worked really well. I don't know if I want to do it. I might, because some people have said they've had incredible meditations just taking that. And when that pineal gland starts to decalcify, I think you will notice that your meditations become better and deeper and more intense, and lucid dreaming and all kinds of things. And you're like, wow, it's really incredible. Last thing is just a couple of exercises you can do to kind of activate it. This is actually good eye exercise, and since your pineal gland is part of kind of the optical whole system up here, these kind of help. One of them is just to put your hand in front of your face, and you're going to look at your hand, and then you look far away at whatever's beyond your hand. Then you come back to your hand, and then you look far away and at your hand far away, and you just do that for a few minutes or whatever. And that's a good just general exercise for your eyes. Another one you can do is just to look over to your shoulder, and then look over to your other shoulder, and look over to your other shoulder. Just do that back and forth a little bit. I just, even doing this, I'm noticing that I can see one shoulder more than the other. So that's another good eye exercise, because you can feel it kind of working in this whole area as you do those. Another one, your mom always said don't cross your eyes, they're going to stick that way. Well, you can practice it now. Just cross your eyes, look at the tip of your nose, and then I want you to look up at your third eye. Like, look right up here, and then look down at your nose, and look up at your third eye. And you can just do that several times too, and you'll kind of feel a little bit of pressure and stuff up here, and that helps. Even though the pineal gland is further back in the middle of your brain, you can still kind of feel it in here, and it's all kind of connected in there. So if you have any other questions, let me know. If you have any other comments or any suggestions that you have about activating the pineal gland, let me know. These are just a few of my pointers that I've tried. Like I've said, I've tried all of these things, and except for the essential oils, but I just read about it the other day, and I just thrown it out there for you if you guys want to help, because some of you guys are just so intent on activating that pineal gland, and it is a good thing to do, because you can access those energies out there in the universe. You can have in greater meditations. You can manifest more stuff. I guess you could say it could be life-changing just by this tiny little gland being activated. But you also, if you're activating this, you want to also activate your heart, because without a coherent brain, without a coherent heart, your brain can't access all those things in the universe without you bringing it back to your heart. You can think of your brain sending out the signal, and your heart is what receives it back, and that's what's important when you activate that. And that's why a lot of meditations will involve just being at peace and quiet, because that's here in the heart. And you see a lot of people that do prayer or meditation with their hands here, and that's just, you have a lot of energy from your heart that goes down to your hands and right here in the heart. So it's a very interesting, very mystical organ in your body, and very mysterious. And obviously the ancients held it into high accounts, because of they've got statues of it everywhere. So it's amazing organ.